What is up guys, it's Cal, and in this video we'll be talking about patch 8.2 and everything coming in this patch. So we do know the release date, it's June 25th, which is the next Tuesday from when this video is going live, and it has a whole slew of things coming with it, being a major patch and all. Let's go ahead and get the best and most important thing out of the way, flying. Finally, we'll be able to fly in all outdoor BFA zones. Now this is contrary to Legion where we were never able to fly in Argus, so when you unlock flying, you'll be able to fly in Kulturas, Zandalar, Mechagon, and Nazjatar, which are obviously the two new zones that are coming in BFA. We all know this, and I'll talk about those later. So how do you unlock flying? Well, it has two parts to it. You may already have part 1 done. If not, then do it. Part 1 requires you to explore all the areas of each of the Kulturas and Zandalar zones, complete 100 world quests across Kulturas and Zandalar, complete your war campaign. If you don't know what step you are in the war campaign, just bring up your quest log and it has this helpful spot right here which tells you. And then you have to gain or revere reputations with all your factions reps in BFA, which is of course different on whether you're Horde or Alliance, and this also includes at least revered Tortolans and Champions of Azeroth. And then complete the main zone quest lines for your faction. So that's part 1, which has been obtainable, so make sure you get that. Now part 2 of Battle for Azeroth Pathfinder, this is pretty similar to part 1. You need to explore all the areas in Nazjatar and Mechagon, and then get revered with your faction's rep in those zones. For Mechagon, it's the Rustbolt Resistance for both factions. For Nazjatar, it's the Unshackled for Horde, and Waveblade and Koan for Alliance. So do all of that and you'll be able to fly in all BFA zones, and you'll also get a mechanical parrot mount, Wonderwing 2.0. And getting these Pathfinder achievements on one character unlocks flying for your entire account. Next up, something that I haven't seen getting a lot of attention recently, that is mount equipment. Mounts are getting a bit of an upgrade with equipment slot that you'll have access to. There's only one equipment slot as of now. And we don't know all the equipments that our mounts will have access to, but the ones that we do know are these inflatable mount shoes, which I guess this is the biggest drawback to the mount equipment. Some see it as a problem, some don't, but our water striders will no longer be able to walk on water. We need to equip this mount equipment and it'll allow all of our mounts to walk on water. Now if you already have a water strider, as soon as you log in when 8.2 drops, Nat Pagal will send you one in the mail if you choose to pick that equipment. And it can be purchased from the anglers in Craftsring Wilds for 50 gold. Then there's these comfortable riders barding something. This will make it so you can't be dazed while mounted. Then a saddle chute. If you dismount while in midair, you get a parachute that slow falls you down. So these mount equipment pieces act almost as gyms in a way where they're replaced. You can't take it out. So if I want to put a new one in, it will override the old one, and I have to acquire the old one again, which tells me it won't be very difficult to get these things. Now the Sky Golem will actually be exempt from the mount equipment system due to its already unique ability of being able to pick up herbs while mounted. Druid forms are not affected by mount equipment at all, and Death Knights and Shamans and Hunters and anyone else who can walk on water, you can still do that with your mount equipment effects. Vendor mount will still be able to use mount equipment, although they're already special in their own sense. They don't get exempt from the system. This is because the devs don't think people actually ride vendor mounts around. Oh, and one final thing about mount equipment is that you need a character at least level 100. I assume everyone who's watching this video probably has a character at least 100, at which point all characters at least level 20 on your account will be able to use mount equipment. Now, we have two new zones in 8.2, which I'm sure we're all aware of. There's Mechagon and Nazjatar. Mechagon has a similar model to Timeless Isle, although Blizzard has stated that Mechagon is substantially larger than Timeless Isle. We help the Rustbolt Resistance fight the forces of King Mechagon in a new mythic-only 8-boss dungeon called the Mega Dungeon. Now, it won't be until patch 8.3 where they'll go Karazhan style on this dungeon and split it into two parts, allowing Heroic and Mythic Plus runs through it. Mechagon is an island off the northwest coast of Kulturas, which is all about tinkering and exploration. There's going to be a whole plethora of cool mounts that come out of it, as well as a new junkyard tinkering system. This has you scour Mechagon for plans that you can find resources to create some tinkering items with, such as bombs, turrets, and even a new Mechano cat mount, which has 8 different colors to it. There's also a punch card trinket that you can get early on while going through Mechagon. It's item level 385, so I hope there's a way to increase its item level, but you can get a red, blue, and yellow punch card to put into it, which have different effects like increasing your haste, doing fire damage to enemies at random times, and increasing your underwater breathing. Just a bunch of random things. Also with Mechagon, there's a ton of rares on this island that Blizzard has stated will be going back to the old form of rares when it comes to the ones on this island, as in they'll have long spawn times and will always be rares when you see them, as opposed to today where the rares have like a 1 minute spawn timer and are only rare the first time you kill them. Then for Nazjatar, the forces of the Horde and the Alliance are lured into the Great Sea, which Queen Azshara parts to reveal Nazjatar. Whether you're Horde or Alliance, you end up befriending different factions that are fighting against the Naga, the Unshackled for the Horde, which are made up of Sea Giants, Gale Goblins, and Makuras, then the Waveblade Ankawan for Alliance, who are like Naga Samurais, as I like to call them. Our bases in Nazjatar will be built up similar to garrisons in Warlords of Draenor, and we'll be able to level up combat allies similar to the bodyguard system in Legion. Nazjatar has 5 subzones, which change repeatedly over time to give more choices for activities with different rare spawns and mini events. The zone will also have a world PvP event to it that isn't required to do, but it's something extra. This PvP system will also give you a new currency with new rewards to it, including mounts, and also an item that allows you to ride underwater mounts in Nazjatar. Nazjatar also brings a new catch-up gear system called Benthic gear, which are different than past catch-up BOA gear we've seen in the past, since these can be upgraded and they give you interesting effects. They start out at a pretty low item level, but they can eventually be upgraded to 425 with a new currency called Prismatic Mana Pearl, which for comparison's sake, Heroic Azshara's Eternal Palace gear is 430. The effects that they give you will help you in Nazjatar and can also benefit you in the new raid. Then finally, Nazjatar obviously has a new raid, Azshara's Eternal Palace. This is an 8 boss raid with one of the encounters being fully underwater. The last boss, of course, is Queen Azshara. So what happens after we defeat her? No one knows yet. It'll probably end up leading to N'Zoth, the final boss of BFA. And then Azeroth is getting a bit of a revamp in the new patch. So first off, leveling up your Heart of Azeroth will no longer be required to unlock the different rings on your Azerite armor. All the rings will automatically be unlocked when you loot a new Azerite armor piece. Now we'll get a new customization system for the Heart of Azeroth directly, which involves unlocking different essences to place into our Heart of Azeroth neck. These slots are unlocked with Azerite level. It's a system that's pretty similar to the Netherlight Crucible back in Legion. They each have a major and minor effect to them. So you pick which major effect you like the most, socket it into there, and then pick which few of the good minor effects, and then you socket them into the minor effect slots. And these essences can be gotten through a bunch of different means like PvP, Mythic Plus, and raids. And then there's the war campaign, which of course will continue. Bane is held captive under Orgrimmar, and the Horde, as well as the Alliance, go and save him. Also, Sylvanas has possession of the Blade of the Black Empire after Crucible of Storms, which I believe acts as like a compass that points her in the direction of Nazjatar. Don't quote me on that. I also don't want to give too much away. Magni is still trying to heal Azeroth with the help of Mother, and Thrall will play a role in that as well as saving Bane. And then there's Wrathion. What's he up to? Well, we don't really know, but his Black Talon agents apparently keep popping up, so he's planning something. Now, according to the Black Talon agents on the PTR, Wrathion is looking for the Dragon Isles, which, here's a fun fact, the Dragon Isles actually were intended to be a level 65 to 70 raid in WoW, located north of Lordaeron and west of Quel'Thalas, but were scrapped. But anyways, this is probably setting up for 8.3, where we'll actually go there. And then there's the new Heritage armor sets, the Gnomes and Tauren. So just like previous Heritage armor sets, if you have a max level character of either race and Exalted with that respective reputation, you'll do a questline that goes more in depth into the lore of both races. Now just some final notes. Mythic Plus dungeons are getting a new season affix, so no more reaping. This one's called Beguiling. This will place random Queen Azshara emissaries around the dungeon that your group has to deal with. They'll have one of 3 enchantments. They can have Queen's Decree Blowback, which spawns a large bubble. All enemies in that bubble, so I'm talking enemies to you, will have a 200% reflection shield. This emissary can be stunned and knocked back, but can't be CC'd. This emissary also has way too much health to deal with, but she disappears after 30 seconds. Then there's a Void Touch emissary, which will have Queen's Decree Hide ability. This one deals shadow damage equal to 50% of the target's health to enemies in line of sight within 60 yards, whatever that means. Anyways, this one needs to die. It has a little more health than a normal mob, but killing her will make her teleport away. Then the third one is the Emissary of Tides, which has the Queen's Decree Unstoppable ability. This makes all nearby allies of the Emissary immune to all CC effects, including interrupts, silences, disorients, stuns, dazes, incapacitates, sleeps, snares, slows, and roots. This one needs to die as well, and has similar health to the last Emissary. Professions are getting recipe updates, like Alchemy is getting new flasks, which are better than the 8.0 equivalent. Blacksmiths can craft a mount equipment that allows your mount to walk on water. Feasts and secondary stat foods are getting upgraded for cooking. Enchanting can do plus 60 ring enchants, which is an upgrade from the plus 37. They also have some new enchants which have interesting effects. As well as mount equipment, they're able to make that increases mount speed by 20%. Engineers can make a Blingtron 7000, as well as a wormhole generator Kulturas and Zandalar. Fishing, well, pretty much just adds a new series of achievements. You can wear these goggles and fish up a bunch of new fish for an achievement. Scribes can of course make new contracts for the 8.2 reps and the new Vantis runes. The new herb is called Zin Athid, it's pronounced something like that, which can be mass milled, and scribes can make new item level 400 trinkets. Jewel crafters have a new ore to prospect, Osmanite, also upgraded gems, plus 125 for main stat gems as opposed to the plus 80 that they were, then plus 60 for secondary gems as opposed to the plus 40 that they were. Leatherworkers can craft the new mount equipment that doesn't allow you to be dazed while mounted. Tailoring can create a mount equipment that deploys a parachute when you dismount mid-air, and I believe that's it for profession updates. There's a ton of new mounts and pets to collect, also a new pet battle dungeon, Strathol. I made videos on all the mounts as well as the new pet battle dungeon, so be sure to check those out. There's 2 new island expeditions, Crestfall and Snow Blossom. Heroic Warfronts, which you need to actually make a group for. They scale from 10 to 20 people, and it's just for Stormguard to start off. PvP Season 3 will start off sometime after 8.2 drops with a new Basilisk mount. And then finally, the best change of all, we're getting the Caverns of Time portal back in the portal room. So no need to travel to Northrend, $1 for it. It will conveniently be placed in our portal room. And there you have it. Everything new in 8.2. You can let me know of your favorite features that are coming. Flying is of course going to be awesome, and I can't wait to explore the new zones. But if you guys like this video, then feel free to leave a like on it. You can sub to the channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video.